welcome to 9 on the Positive Side. I'm Courtney Courtwright. Thanks so much for joining us. We start with a story that is perfect for spring. It takes years to produce 1 to 2 weeks of color from peonies. Chad Tucker introduces us to a North Carolina woman who, despite a heartache, is still putting in the work to deliver all the joys of this flower.
So these are daffodils, which that doesn't sound that interesting, but these
it's the sign of spring.
Here's something fresh and local, and they just look like sunshine.
And they are springing up
the yellow ones
all around Emily Blanton's family farm.
These are always the sign spring is right around the corner.
Absolutely.
For generations, the farm has produced a number of crops.
This is a good stage where it has one open.
But in the last 10 years, it's specialty cut flowers, like peonies.
And you can see they've already set buds.
Oh yeah, look at there.
I talked to my dad about it, and we had a conversation about, do you think that people will buy flowers?
A spectrum of pink, blush, and white peonies.
So this was planted in 2017.
That don't bloom here.
Fluffy pink ones.
They're cut to bloom once they arrive.
They're really fresh when they get to the customer.
In the perfect vase of your home.
Farming in general is a big act of service, like one big act of service.
And you're cutting for tomorrow delivery.
Yes.
So that's how fresh they are.
Right.
A service of color that helps us celebrate the joy in life.
My husband passed away a few years ago.
And find healing.
I didn't want to do what we did together without him.
But after some time and patience,
I didn't sell flowers for a couple of years.
She's back and in full bloom.
So out of all the flowers you do, what's your favorite?
Oh, I can't answer that.
In Davie County.
Can't go wrong with daffodils.
Right.
Down on the farm with some of Roy's folks.
Fancy daffodils.
Chad Tucker.
Fancy daffodils, definitely.
Fox 8 News.
That's
They're
right.
not your roadside daffodils.
That's right. That's right.
And this farm is not open to the public, but they do sell through subscriptions and at area locations. You can follow them on Instagram. It's right there at the bottom of your screen for more on this year's upcoming peonies. Tobacco season just right around the corner as farms are getting ready for that. Digital reporter Shannon Baker visited a company in Wilson that takes the final product of the tobacco harvest and creates something beautiful.
Tobacco plays a big part in the history of agriculture in eastern North Carolina. That's especially true for Wilson, as it used to serve as the world's largest tobacco market. Artisan Leaf opened in 2014, and since then they've been paying homage to the traditions and history behind tobacco and the beauty of the tobacco leaf itself.
Originally, I wanted to have it made here and sold in New York as a luxury item, and eventually it became apparent that if I wanted a company, I would have to come down here and make it myself. You know, I'd lived in North Carolina before, so I moved here in 2016, and we started the company in earnest and tried to produce products, came up with all the samples, and little by little it's been growing organically ever since. One of the main markets, and the one that's sustained us the longest, has been the historical tobacco market, where, and because North Carolina is such a tobacco state, you know, a lot of people that grew up with it love the product, so that's been a market for us. And it's really cool to be, you know, straddling an old historical product and trying to present it in a new manner. It seems like all the pieces fit perfectly for us to be here. Every year I get fresh tobacco, but it's a little bit like winemaking, where I don't know what the weather's going to be like this year, and it affects what the tobacco leaves are going to look like. I'm a leaf nerd, I'm here. So some years the crop is prettier than other years, or it varies in colors, lighter or more orange, and you know, so it keeps it fresh and new every year.
Now, for more information about Artisan Leaf, you can visit our online originals tab at WNCT.com. In the digital studio, I'm Shannon Baker, 9 on your side.
During the month of March, we're highlighting remarkable women. For one Onslow County woman, her passion is pouring into the next generation. Now, your side's Aaron Jenkins introduces us to Gail Gatewood.
You can look at the lake and it's so pretty, right? And it's flowing a certain way. But if you throw a pebble in there, the whole flow changes. I believe that there were these women in my life in the military and after the military, who they were that pebble. and they put a little ripple in my flow.
Gail Gatewood is now making those ripples for others.
I had been in the Marine Corps 10, 12, 14 years. I sought to find younger Marines that I can help mentor. I started in the Marine Corps as a private, low man on the totem pole. I retired from the Marine Corps a Chief Warrant Officer 3. When I picked up Warrant Officer at that time, there were only about 16 black female warrant officers over the 5 ranks of warrant officers in the Marine Corps.
Now she's passing along what she learned during these life experiences to Onslow County students.
So that you can choose which way you want to go. I mentor from 4th grade to 12th grade. One of the things I love to tell the young ladies is I don't care what you did yesterday, last week, last night, last year, today matters. And what you do forward. I mean, I have success stories. I've seen young ladies that came through our mentoring who they might have been expelled from school, had to go to the alternative school, but now they're in the military, going to college, getting scholarships.
Not only is Gail an inspiration to young girls, but also to her 15 grandchildren.
I've written 2 children's books. And the reason I wrote those children's books is because when my very first granddaughter was born, she is albino. So I wrote the book Fearfully and Wonderfully Mean, basically saying, hey, I'm awesome just the way I am. Shortly after that, I wrote the book Tree Talk, which is basically, what are you going to believe? Are you going to believe what's true about you, or are you going to believe Tree Talk?
Gail also started the nonprofit Outreach of Hope with her husband. They help people with things like rent, finding needed resources, and giving out scholarships. They also honor the unsung heroes in their community.
That's when we came up with the Pretty Girls Rock Banquet. And what we do at that banquet is we honor women who may not normally be honored. You know, that Sunday school teacher or that mom who's making it work. And we just give them a little award and say, hey, we appreciate you, because you put a ripple in somebody's flow.
Now with years of pouring herself into others, Gail is being honored as a remarkable woman.
I give all glory to God for this, because he gives me the energy to do it. He gives me the strength. He wakes me up every morning with a mind to go out and make a difference. Because what's more important to me than anything, than all of the degrees that I have, I've gotten awards in the military, but the most important thing to me is to see a life changed, or a life made better, or a young person who is being the best version of themselves. That's it. That's it for me. I don't need nothing else.
In Jacksonville, Aaron Jenkins, 9 on your side.
And to see this story and the stories of our other remarkable women nominees, just find this page over on WNCT.com. You can see the inspirational stories of all of our Eastern North Carolina remarkable women for 2024. Just find it under the Features tab there at the top of that banner.
It came about the time that my vision started to significantly deteriorate, and it gave me a purpose.
A North Carolina couple is there for each other from start to finish. Next on 9 on the Positive Side, how they're proving that true love is blind. Love is strong, and a Davison couple is there for each other from start to finish. Their tandem approach to long-distance running is a heartwarming show of love and support. John Lee has their story.
We rely on each other.
This is what happens when you take true love and run with it.
I think our marriage is even stronger because of the running.
At Fisher Farm in Davidson, visitors are encouraged to share the greenway. LaRon and Susan Morisseau see many smiling couples. The Morisseaus make great strides holding a rope that keeps Susan safe.
Left. Okay. He's wanting me to go right or left. It's almost like a horse.
5 years ago, they began training for long-distance races.
I mean, sometimes Susie, she starts running on her own ahead of me, so I have to kind of... I'm like, good, stop.
With her husband by her side, Susan runs toward the scary reality of blindness.
It came about the time that my vision started to significantly deteriorate, and it gave me a purpose.
Susan was diagnosed with retinitis pigmentosa when she was 5. Her vision declined over the years, and now she sees only light and shadows.
It's really scary. I guess if you imagine running with a blindfold that you can't take off.
Scary, but exhilarating in the right setting.
If it's not scary, it's easy.
In January, Team Morriso took on Walt Disney World Marathon Weekend. Their 4 races included a 5K, 10K, and half marathon, culminating with a 26.2-mile trek at the happiest place on earth. As usual, connected at the hip and with a rope from start to finish.
Even though I rely on him every race we do, sometimes he tells me that he relies on me for the motivation to get out and run.
I have no idea how she can overcome and the amount of trust she has to have into me to be able to go run for this long.
Their trust has been building for 25 years since their wedding day in France.
I knew then that we would be married forever.
Back then, Susan could see Laurent's face, but blindness hasn't changed her view of the love of a lifetime. And years after tying the knot, the rope they run with is symbolic of their devotion.
The tie is there.
In Davidson, John Lee, Queen City News.
Such a beautiful story, overcoming the odds to achieve your dreams. The story of one Paralympic swimmer training for this summer's Olympic Games. That's coming up next. Callie Prohaska is a Paralympic swimmer who's already had success with Team USA over the years. The only thing missing is to be part of Team USA on an Olympic stage. Alyssa Orange traveled to Iowa to spend time with Callie as she trains for Paris.
You jump in, you go underwater, and everything kind of goes quiet.
For Callie Prohaska, the water is a happy place, an escape.
Never really think of it as I'm better than you, you're better than me, just here to do our best individually, see where it ends up.
It's also the great equalizer.
I was born in 2002 with proximal femoral focal deficiency. I'm missing my hip, my femur, and my knee, all on the left side.
She had surgery in 2008 to turn her leg in order to better fit her prosthetic. It was during her physical therapy when she fell in love with being in the water.
In 2013, I moved to like a summer rec league, and then I swam club, and then I got a letter from the USOPC in 2016 inviting me to come swim.
It was at the same Paralympic meet years later, Callie would cross paths with her current coach Ben Collin and teammate Olivia Chambers.
So she's one of the first athletes that we encounter. Right, so we walk into the meet, they get in the same warm-up lane together, those two have never met, and they kind of hit it off.
That meeting led Callie to transfer from Indiana-Fort Wayne and join the swim team at Northern Iowa.
We just got to try to increase the tempo and get comfortable with that fast tempo, even if we are sacrificing a little bit of catch at the moment. No matter what I write up on the board, she's going to try to go at it, which is something that I really admire about her.
As she prepares herself for the Paralympic trials in June, she's leaning on her experiences during the last 2 Pan Am Games.
4 races, 4 medals, can't complain about that one.
And learning from the Paralympic trials in 2021.
I was just off the time I needed for Tokyo, so mean the world to come back and validate what I did 3 years ago.
A goal not just for her, but all the people fighting in her corner.
That's the #1 objective. It's written on the wall, like we're getting Callie to that point. Good job, bud. Nice work.
On the journey to Paris, I'm Alyssa Orange.
It's another heartwarming show of love and support. Next, how the power of music is also the key to this. There are some memories that stick with you no matter how much time has passed. A Charlotte couple has a special way of showing how much they love each other. Maureen Wirth shows us the power of music.
Okay, you ready?
Though most of us are perfectly fine with talking.
He eats so much till his tummy sags.
John.
His ears flip-flop and his tail wags.
And Mitzi Roper.
When he walks, he zigs and zags.
Have always thought music.
She hums a lot, the song.
is the better form
Beautiful.
of communication.
The other night, dear,
Her Johnny
I lay down sleeping.
isn't the singer of the two.
It has to be one of your real favorites.
That's all Mitzi.
If you have love in your heart, wow, it changes everything.
Isn't he sweet?
And she brought love to my heart 62 years ago.
He says it wasn't hard falling in love with the beauty queen. This April, they will have been married for 63 years.
Well, do you want to try singing Little Red Caboose?
In 2015,
I don't remember.
Mitzi
Do I have children?
Yeah. Have 2 boys and a girl.
That's right, I've forgotten.
was diagnosed with Alzheimer's.
Johnny, Jackson, and Janie.
Johnny, Jackson, and Janie.
Janie. Jane Elizabeth is Janie.
Well, that's good.
Names and dates
Every week?
Yeah, I loved it.
Little bit, but
fade in and out of her mind.
Boom, boom, boom.
And John
That's a good thing.
That's a good thing, isn't it?
Oh boy,
clings to those moments
it is a good thing.
of clarity.
Hang on to all of your good thoughts that you've had for those 62 years and translate them into the tomorrows that are yet to come.
Sometimes it's the todays that add to the tally he keeps in his heart, especially when Mitzi, a lifelong musician, sits down at the piano.
Almost beyond expression, because I'm so thankful that that part of her life that's so important to her has been retained.
And I love him.
Guess
His
what?
name is Johnny Roper.
Thank you, dear. Thank you very much.
The songs are a surprise.
Very good, Mom.
Did you think that was good?
Yes, ma'am.
And so
Well,
are the days.
thank you.
You're welcome.
But he is certain of what's to come.
I love to play the piano.
That's the Cadillac that I drive. It's the security of knowing that no matter what happens on this earth, there's more to come. And we'll be there. Her memory will come back, and I'll be there to see it. That takes away the loneliness. It takes away the loss.
The decades of memories may not come easily,
I've enjoyed this day to day. I've had a good time
but music does.
Well, what were you doing?
watching you.
With photojournalist Jenna Pinto, Maureen Wirtz,
How's that?
Queen City News.
I don't know about that.
The power of love and music. Thanks so much for joining us for 9 on the Positive Side. Have a great weekend, everyone.